What's up, guys? How are you guys doing? I'm going to be having this was a totally unplanned show. So I'm not going to have the usual suspects with me, but we will have DC joining us and we have another guest joining us. I don't remember the conversation we were having, but we were in a comment section. Pretty sure we were talking about black folks. Maybe we weren't. I don't know. I like to have conversations and I like to have tough conversations. So I picked one of the most controversial subjects that a lot of us are afraid to have. I'm not. I'm going to specifically talk about the black community because that's where I'm from. That's where I have the most experience. And I can't speak for white people. I just can't. So we're going to get into that. Before we get started, I'm going to make a few comments regarding, I guess, my comeback to Facebook because I've been gone for 2 months, literally 2 months. I haven't been able to post or do anything. Facebook definitely shut me down. So people are like, yo, you did a complete 180. You don't talk about the same stuff anymore. All you do is give your opinions. In case you didn't notice, when you first started watching me, you watched me for my opinion. Now, just because you don't like what I'm saying anymore doesn't mean that I've changed. I'm not going to lie to you. I keep telling y'all that. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to tell you things that make you feel good. I'm not going to give you a false sense of reality. That's not what I do here. And if you can't handle that and you're going to be sensitive, if I call you out, which I call everybody out, just like people correct me, I take that correction and I'm like, oh, damn, I had it wrong. Cool. But don't get in your feels, man. Don't get in your feelings. Don't start attacking me. Don't start telling me, oh, you just want people to go along with your narrative. You don't like people to disagree with you. That's BS. People disagree with me on a daily basis. That is how I got my start. So here we are. I watch you because you keep it real. Thank you. And hello, everybody watching. I hope you guys have fun with this show. We're going to get into a few topics. I love your voice until I can control you. I like that. Danny, look, I had a whole troll on my show and he showed his ass. He started rubbing his nipples and doing all types of weird stuff, drunk as hell. But you know what? Danny is he's chill. He comes and watches the show. And for the most part, he will agree. Now, there are some things that he won't agree on, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm a PhD. I want to bring my guest up. I don't know how to pronounce your name and I don't want to bomb it. So you got to tell me what it is. How do you pronounce it?
Danye.
Okay, Danye. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, welcome to Hot Mike,
appreciate it.
and thank you for being here. We're gonna get into our subject. I wrote a few questions down because, like I told you when we were backstage, there were some suggestions I had in the comments, so I took those down, and I want to know why Black women are so angry. What's the and I'm gonna let you give your response to it and I'll respond after. So I'm gonna let you go first because I want to hear what you have to say about it. So why are Black women so angry?
Me personally, I don't really think like as a collective that Black women are super angry. I feel as though no, let me correct that. I do think there's some anger in the community, but I feel as though Black women on a whole feel the least protected. You know what I mean? And as the least protected, it's just like I guess the guy back in middle school or in high school, like he bullied other people because he was scared to be bullied. You know what I mean? So I think as a metaphor, Black women walk around with an attitude, or let me air quote that, with an attitude as a defense mechanism. You see what I'm saying? When you feel less protected, when you feel the least defended, when you feel the most scrutinized, I think your a natural reaction is to recoil and have like a buffer or a barrier to basically shield your feelings. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's just my overarching thought on that. I also
Okay.
think that black women get like a bad rap sometimes. Is like I say, I don't think it's if you stopped and talked to most black women, you would see that they don't really have an attitude. But as I stated, when you feel like you're the least protected, there's a reason to be defensive. You know what I mean?
Okay. When you say least protected, like what do you mean by that? And what ways aren't they protected? I'm just trying to get a full feel for what you're saying.
So, and mind you, I'm just giving my opinion because even though we talked a little bit about this,
Hmm.
I really didn't have time to dive deep into the topic or the
Hmm.
question. But when I say least protected, there's been studies shown that if a black woman gets basically a flat tire on the side of the road, like it takes like 3 times the time that a white woman would to get not AAA, but just somebody to stop and help. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I mean by the least valued or the least protected. Like as a person, you see somebody stranded, your natural reaction is to help most times. You see what I'm saying? But when it takes 3 times the time for someone just to stop and help, that's a stigma of being less protected. Also, when you see black women in the street maybe fighting a guy, right? You
Hmm.
don't see a lot of other people rushing to her defense. You know what I mean? You've seen plenty of videos where a black woman could be fighting a man and everybody stands around and watch. But you've seen other videos where people of other ethnicity are fighting a man and they step in to help. You see what I'm saying? Also, when you look at it in a sense of policing, like you don't hear about many white women being gunned down by police, but there are many stories about black women being gunned down or killed by police. You see what I'm saying? And that's when I say least protected. There's a lot into it. I'm not saying that there's no protection for them at all, but when you do a comparison, they are one of the least protected groups.
Okay. Hmm. I'm trying to think how to respond. Um. Okay. I I'm just going to say there are certain things that I disagree with you about.
Mm-hmm.
Um. I think a lot of people are reluctant to help, especially in this day and age, because there's an ongoing mantra, among the modern modern day black woman. I don't need your help. I don't need you to do anything for me. I could do it myself. So if that's the mentality that's being um, presented, and somebody sees you on the side of the road and they're like, I don't even know if I want to pull over and help because you might be offended at me. I'm asking you if you need help. You might cop an attitude. Like these things happen. How do you expect anybody to want to help you when you give off this not so good disposition about yourself?
Agreed, but sorry about that.
It's all good.
Hold on 1 second. Hey,
Okay.
stop, girl. You okay? Shit, hold on. Come on, go to your. Yeah, I'll let you back out in a second. Hold on, girl. All right, sorry about that.
It's all good.
Yeah, but she looks out the window and if people walking by, she gets on them. You know what I mean? But so I think you have to look back at where this all started, right?
Okay.
And what I mean by that is like you have to go back. Black women wasn't just like this from the beginning, right? Like I know a lot of people watch Kevin Samuels and he like to throw out a lot of numbers and this and that, the third about this and that, the black marriage and back in the 60s, this and that, the third. But you have to realize when you've been doing it on your own for so long, and there's a perpetual system of you doing it on your own. And when you teach your kids to do it on their own, you can't then be mad that they have this just inflated sense of self or independence. Let's say that. You see what I'm saying? So I know we was talking before, and I'm not really sure if everybody else know this, but you was raised by a single mom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't know your history, but was your mom raised by a single mom?
Yeah, a portion.
So
Actually, let me take that back. My mother's mom died when she was 11. So no, she was raised by her dad.
okay, I got you. And that's even a flip side. Like men teach their daughters to not depend on a man. You see what I'm saying? So when you've been taught not to depend on a man, and then your life you don't depend on a man because the man you've had, not specifically speaking about you, but the man you've had a child with is not there to help raise this child. Now you've basically been taught not depend on a man. The man has shown you that you don't need to depend on a man, or you can't depend on a man. So what do you teach your offspring, especially if she's a girl? That no man is going to help you, no man is going to be there for you, blah, and on down the road. So then when Black women grow up, they have this just streak of self-independence. We can't then be mad or feel a certain type of way that they feel like I got this, or you know what I mean, I don't need help. You see what I'm saying? I think it takes therapy, and it takes like a man breaking down some of those barriers to show her that she can trust a guy. You see what I'm saying? So I hope that answered your question.
Well, I'm married.
Yeah.
Been married 10 years.
Gotcha.
And I took that same mentality into my marriage, and my marriage almost failed because my mother did not teach me how to be a woman,
right,
or a wife,
right.
Although she was married, and my mom's been married for over 20 years. When you don't, here's the thing. My mom chose my dad.
Right.
We control access to sex.
That's true.
So if you can see this guy may or may not be the right one, or you just are not sure, my question would be, why did you allow them to sleep with you unprotected to even create a child? There's a bunch of all parties are responsible here. I think women have the luxury of saying it's the man's fault. You're not here. You didn't do this. You're not doing this. I got to do it by myself. But how did you get there? You got there by opening your legs to an ain't shit dude, and you get ain't shit results. So how can you be mad? You should be mad at nobody but yourself at that point. I say the same thing to my mom. You know, my dad has apologized to me for a lot of the things that he did, and he's acknowledged I wasn't ready and I acted like a kid. But my mother still chose him.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day.
I agree that she chose him, but I can guarantee you she didn't choose him with the intent that he was leaving. I can guarantee you that. She didn't sleep with him and he was like, nah, right before we had sex, if you get pregnant, I ain't gonna be here.
But they weren't married.
But listen.
So why would you even create a child with the man you're not married to?
That's I think that goes back like further than what I can explain about, especially in our community, about having kids. I think a lot of times, like, so this is my thoughts. I think a lot of times women in the Black community aren't loved properly, and they don't have many things to love them. So they get a kid that shows them unconditional love. You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that is all the time, but there's a lot of times that's the situation. Now, I'm not here to say that, oh, you shouldn't have a kid out of wedlock, or you should have a kid out of wedlock. I mean, if you're having sex, protected or unprotected, there's always a chance that someone could get pregnant. So if you're trying to say that, well, she had sex with him unprotected, this and that, and the third, the only other alternative is to abstain until like marriage. And in this hyper ultra sexual society we live in right now, I don't think abstaining is something we as a people can do.
So then the cycle's going to continue of women choosing ain't shit dudes and then being angry. At the
Now,
end of the day, it's an accountability thing.
I agree.
There is no accountability. They can always put it off. Well, I haven't been treated right. Well, nobody's done this for me. Well, nobody's done that for me. I'm the black stereotypical girl. I grew up in a single parent home. My dad was in and out. My mom talked nonstop shit about my dad to the point where it created a hatred for me that I didn't even know why I had it, because my dad really never did anything to me. I just didn't like him off the fact that my mom don't like him. How's that fair?
Normal. That's normal because it's not fair, but if your dad was there to create another narrative, then you wouldn't have that narrative. You see what I'm saying?
Not really.
If your dad was an active dad, like
she wouldn't have let it been. She would have never let that happen.
I can't say because we're speaking your specific life. I can't speak on that because I met you 32 minutes ago. You know what I mean?
Well, so everybody watching, they know my story.
Yeah, but
everybody
what I'm saying is, I can't speak on why your dad and your mom particularly couldn't do this, do that. Now, when we can speak in general terms, but when we start saying, well, my dad or my mom didn't allow it or he wouldn't do this, I can't speak to that. You know what I mean? But when we're just speaking in general terms, a lot of times women don't let men be fathers. I agree with you on that. But sometimes there are also instances where men just don't show up. And if you don't show up, how can you create the other narrative that you are a good guy? You see what I'm saying? Like, I take it like this. Like, even if a mom was talking shit about a dad 5 days a week, if that dad got his kid every weekend, he can see a difference. You see what I'm saying? He can see the alternative. Well, maybe my dad isn't all that bad. You know what I mean? But if you're a dad that gets your child once every 3 months, like, there's nothing to combat the narrative that you ain't shit. You're not trying to change the narrative. You're doing the bare minimum. So why the fuck I shouldn't think of you as a bare minimum dad? Why everything my mom's saying isn't true? You're not showing me any different. You see what I'm saying? So I can tell you like this. When I have 2 kids, my daughter's 13. I have a son. He's basically like 22 months or something like that, 21 months. You know, as a dad, you don't remember the months. You just remember the years. But since my daughter's been 2, me and her mom has co-parented, right? Meaning she's had them, or I have her every Monday and Tuesday. She has it every Wednesday and Thursday, and we alternate weekends. So in a 14-day cycle, I have my daughter 7 days, and she has my daughter 7 days. There's no way she can create an alternative narrative in that. There's no way she can talk shit about her dad when she go to her dad just as much as she go to her mom. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I mean by being there. There's a slim chance for your mom, all the shit talking she may do, if your dad is there, he creates the alternative narrative. You know what I mean?
So what if she completely took that from you? Because you're not married. So at the end of the day, because you're not married, women automatically have custodial rights unless you go to the court to make it 50-50. So if she decided tomorrow that you're not seeing your kids, you're not seeing them unless you go to court.
Well, not
so what would you do? What are the men that want to be there for their kids? Because there are a lot of men that do want to take care of their kids and they're not allowed to. My dad was one of them. So how do you subject the child to nonsense that the mother's bringing because you're mad at the man, and then completely ignore a man's plight and a man's fight as to how he can or cannot see his children?
But my point is, if you're there from the beginning, it's hard to do that. Like, like, yes, if you're on bad terms, this and that, the third, and I agree with you that most times the parents, the mother are the custodial parents, right? But me, like my daughter is zoned for the school at my house. Like at the school and at school is my name on all the information. You know what I mean? Like like I get all the calls and the emails and all that stuff. So like I say, if you there from the beginning, you create the alternative narrative. Now, if you're intermittently there, then yes, the mom can create whatever narrative she likes. You know what I mean?
I don't know what a minimum dad is. Like, if a woman says, I don't want you here, you're
Right.
not going to be there. Even if you want to be there, even if you're trying, if she makes it impossible, that's the woman's fault. It's your fault. Why would you do that to your kid? I got 3 children. And at no point in ever in their existence of life would I ever cut off communication to their dad because I'm mad at something he did to me. It has nothing to do with the children. That's your own personal thing. And if you're that mad, you need to go to counseling, sit down and talk to somebody instead of subjecting your kids to it.
I
And,
agree with you.
and once again, it goes down to accountability. Stop opening your legs for any and everybody, especially when you don't know them. Why would you why would you even have sex with somebody that you don't even know? You don't even know what their morals are, what their beliefs are, who that person really truly is. So why even engage in sex?
That's a broad brush. That's a broad brush. You know what I mean? Like what I mean by that is you're painting basically all single mothers under one brush. Like it's not always like that. Like you can be high school sweethearts, college sweethearts, and she gets pregnant in college. It just doesn't work. Your kids. You know what I mean? That's not a situation where, oh, I didn't know you, I didn't know your morals. It's just a situation where it didn't work. Now, I'm not here to advocate for I can't even talk. Unwed pregnancies. I'm not an advocate for it. You know what I mean? I'm not here to talk about it. What I'm saying is like all situations isn't a irresponsible situation. You know what I mean? You can be as careful as you like.
But the
Conscious.
majority,
Yes, I agree with you. The majority. So
and that's so you don't think if you look at the black community and you look at statistics, 80% of our homes are headed by a single black woman. If you go to the inner city, it's headed by single black women. There's anger there. There's the lack of having a father there. So Obama said the statistics, and I'm going to pull it up because these statistics are super important. And I feel like people forget it or they just tune out because once again, they don't want to take responsibility for what they've done. But this is what he said in his Father's Day speech in, I want to say 2018, maybe. Children who grow up in a house without a father are 5 times more likely to end up in poverty, commit crimes, 20 times more likely to end up in prison. They're more likely to have behavioral problems, run away from home, or become the statistic teenage parent, all because the dad was not there.
I agree with you.
So
That's not a disagreement.
If we know that the father is vital, why are women stopping them from doing so just because they're angry and you're not protecting? It's not about you anymore. It's about the child.
So for every one,
That's not one.
no,
We
every
make up
one,
70
no,
to 70 over 70% of our homes are headed by a single parent home, single parent.
but for every one woman that drove away a dad because she was angry, I can show you one that dad just didn't show up.
That's
That's my
easy,
point. That's
but they're
my
not the
point.
majority.
But that, yes, they are. The majority isn't women that's upset. That's not the majority. The majority is guys not showing up. Trust me.
According to whose standards though? A woman? Are you only listening to the woman? Are you
No,
not
I'm
getting the
not. I'm
guy's
not.
side of the story?
I'm not here to advocate for one side or
No,
the
I'm just
other.
speaking in these terms because you're saying I know a whole lot of women where men just don't want to be there. How do you know that for sure?
My dad wasn't there. My brother dad wasn't there. Could it be because of my mom? Possibly. But my point is, if that's the case, if if the case was that why didn't shoot that? If the case was that angry moms are running dads away, then the dad would still find a way to be in their kid's life. That's what I mean. Even if it's the bare minimum, you have so many that's not even doing the bare minimum, which shows me that it's more than just angry women running them away. It shows me that they didn't want to be there from the beginning. That's where I think the rub is. Now, if you talking about a guy fighting for his kid, going to child support, court, trying to get his kids, going to court, trying to get his kid, yes, I agree with you there. But there are so many men that don't even do the bare minimum. You can't tell me that's because a woman is running them away. If you wanted to be involved, you would be involved however you could be involved. You wouldn't say, oh, she mad at me, I ain't gonna never go see my kid. Who are you hurting at that point? Not her.
Not at all. But you can say, this is going to affect me and it's going to affect my child. So let me just back off for a bit because you're being irrational here and it's affecting my kid. Because at the end of the day, that's who it affects when they act like this. So in some instances, you can definitely understand why a man is just like, yo, fuck it. You don't want me there no way, which is why you're making it impossible. So when the child reaches a certain age, I'm here, come find me, and I will give you my side of the story. But it shouldn't be like that.
But that's a coward's way, if you ask me. That's a coward's way.
I don't think so at all. I think that's somebody being responsible.
A coward's way is saying, when you get 18, come talk to me. What? Why I gotta wait? Why I gotta wait 16 years or 13 years or 12 years? Why? Why I gotta wait for that long? Like I said, if you wanted to be involved, no matter how much the woman is an asshole or angry or whatever the case she may be, you would do whatever it took to be involved. You have so many men that will say, well, I pay my child support, I've done my part. No. As Obama statistics is saying, you need to be active. You need to be there. You need to be involved. If that's the case, then no matter what's going on that side, you should be involved. If you can only get them for 1 day a week, you should get them for 1 day a week. If you can only get them 1 weekend every month, you should get them 1 weekend every month. The alternative isn't she's upset, come talk to me at 18. That's not the alternative. That shows me you didn't want to be there from the beginning. If I gotta wait 10 years for you to tell me a story, you ain't want to be here in the beginning.
That's not true. That's not true at all, man. My mother, and you know how I can speak on this? My entire family is women. My entire family they're women. They're all single. All of them. Not one of my aunts is married. And you know what the children look like? Single. With multiple children and multiple baby daddies. Why is that a thing? If I've seen, let me say this, I've seen my uncles, I've seen my dad go through it. I'm not going to, and I used to be mad at my dad. I used to be mad at my dad because I'm like, man, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. But actually I understood his explanation when I got older. I had all those feelings and their feelings, but the reality of it is he's an individual just like my mother was. He does not have to subject himself to somebody being crazy like that. And at an age where he can get me down and talk to me himself, he absolutely sat me down and said A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And that completely changed my outlook on my entire childhood. It didn't make me angry that he made me wait. He didn't make me wait. He did what was necessary.
I understand your point, but there's no way as a father I'm waiting 3 years to tell my kid a story. There's no way as a father I'm waiting a year to tell my kid a story. Bro, if I don't see my kid when I'm supposed to be my kid, it's going to be smoke in the city. You see what I'm saying?
Because
that's what I mean. That's what I mean by if he really wants to be involved, there's no way he cannot be involved. Will it be tough? Yes. Will it be hard? Yes. But if you want to be there, there's nothing she could do to stop you. You know why? Because yes, she has a lot of power when it comes to custodial rights and all that. But just like a woman can take a man to child support court, a man can take a woman to court to get custody.
And is he going to win?
Well, he might not win custodial custody, but he may win half, like I got, like my homeboy got. He may win half. He may win weekends every weekend. Like that's my point. We're saying that, oh well, since I can't have them the way I want them, I don't even want to be around them. Just come talk to me at 18. That's just weak to me. You know what I mean? There's no way. Like if circumstances happen that my daughter mom wanted to act crazy and then wanted to try to take my kid, there's no way that I wouldn't be fighting for every minute I could get. There's no way
Okay.
I would just be like, you know what? Your mama's crazy. Come talk to me at 18 or come talk to me at 16 when you can really understand what's going on. No, I'm going to talk to you on Saturday because that's when I'm coming to get you.
So here, somebody said this is anecdotal. I don't know what world you guys live in. I am the stereotypical Black girl. Like, there are so many young girls just like me that didn't have their dad around and they grow up angry because they got the anger from their mom. They translate it to each generation because fathers have been completely left out of the picture. It's actually sickening that a man even has to go to court to get custody of his child. That's disgusting. Half custody, it's your child. You have just as much as right to the child as she does. 70, over 70% of the homes are single parent homes. Please tell me how that's anecdotal. Please tell me why the inner city looks the way it does if what I'm saying and what Obama's saying doesn't line up with reality. There's no dad there. That's why
But
these neighborhoods are fucked.
but
Anecdotal my ass, bro.
I think the issue is you laying all the blame on the mom.
I
That's
am
the
because
issue.
they're
It
responsible.
can't be.
We have blamed men enough. We don't ever talk about women.
I'm not
Ever.
I'm not sitting here saying there's no blame for women or there's no blame to go around. But my point is it can't all be laying at the foot of women. There's some asshole ass there's some asshole ass men out here who don't do what they're supposed to do. There's men with 6 and 7 and 8 baby mamas. You mean to tell me that's the woman's fault?
The, we're talking about the majority. So you're telling me the
That's the majority.
majority, so the majority of women can't be just sleeping around having babies everywhere, but the majority of men that have all these children are just not there because they don't want to be there.
I mean, no, I'm not trying to say the majority is on either side. I'm saying the blame, there's enough, I won't even call it blame. There's enough fault to go around to everyone. That's my point.
Sure.
We
But
can't
this one
lay
is about women.
but
That's
we
why we're
can't
not
lay
talking about men.
but we can't lay it all at the foot of women. Now we can say what things women could do to be better, but we can't be like 70% of the house don't have a dad because of women. Like that can't be the answer. It can't be all women.
Why are
That's
dads
my
not there
point.
then?
There's some dads that don't want to be there.
Okay, but over 70%. What percentage of dads out of 70 just don't want to be there?
35,
Man,
35 out of 70. Half. Half don't want to be there. Then let's talk about the ones in prison. Boom. That takes out another 10%.
yeah, and they made choices to land them there. They don't
So we're
get a
down to
pass.
so we're down to 25% of men who women are running away. I can agree to that. I can agree to that. But then, like I said, now if we're going to talk about the things women could do to be better, we can have a dialogue about that. Hold on. Okay. But yeah, should women have some accountability? Yes, I agree. They should. Should women be more cautious about the men they're sleeping with? Yes. Should women not have kids until it a stable household? Yes, I agree with all of that. You're not going to get any pushback from me on any of those points. I do think there's some fault to be given to women who have multiple baby daddies and none of them are in their kids' lives. I agree with you. There's some accountability there, but my point is the whole of the system can't be laid at one size foot. You see what I'm saying? That's just my point of view. That'll be like Kevin Samuels also says most divorces are basically filed by women. True.
Yes, they are.
But he doesn't take into account the women who are being mistreated. He doesn't take into account the women that are being cheated on. He doesn't take into account of a lot of things. It is a lot to go around. And that's my point.
So if you watch Kevin Samuels, you know that he has women on there to back up those statistics. When he asks them, why are you divorced? They never say, oh, it's because my husband beat me.
No,
It's
a
because
couple
my
of them did
husband
say that.
cheated.
A couple did say
Yeah,
that.
very few. It's like this. It's minuscule on the amount of women that get on there and just be like, it didn't work out. We
But
just didn't see eye to eye.
But I'm gonna tell you, the women that has that happen, they're not the ones calling into a show. It's the ones that, oh yeah, I'm the one that decided to end the marriage. Yes, them the ones that calling into a show. You see what I'm saying? Like statistics can be skewed to any way you want it to be skewed. You have to realize when he's in that chat group, there are many women in there. As soon as there's a woman that agree with him, he gets off of there. Thank you. I'm going to somebody else. As soon as he finds a woman who is a contrarian to his point of view, that's the one he talks to for 25 minutes.
That's who you want to talk to. You don't want to talk to somebody who already understands where you're coming from.
That's
you want
my
to talk
point.
to the people that need to understand what you're saying.
But that's my point to you. My point to you is he's skipping over the ones that doesn't fit his narrative. So
that's not the truth. That's like me constantly bringing people onto my show that think exactly the way I do and never speaking to somebody that's going to give me an opposing argument. That's weak. If I'm not just going to keep bringing people on that agree with me, I want to talk to the folks that don't.
But my point is, you say he has some people that agree with him, and then I tell you about the people that has that number or that statistic, and you be like, well, they don't agree with him. Oh, of course, them the ones he's going to talk to, but you're basing your statistics on the only ones he's talking to, and then telling me that, well, them the only ones he talked to. Yeah, because he kicks everybody else out of the conversation when they don't fit his narrative.
I watch Kevin Samuels every day, bro. He don't never kick people out. He allows them to come on, say what they want to say, and he's like, okay, I want to get to somebody that has a disagreement. That's not kicking somebody out. That's not saying, I don't want to talk to you because you don't want to argue with me. That's saying, thank you. Let's move on to the next person.
I agree with you because the back and forth makes good television, because that's basically what it is. It makes good television. But my point is, he goes through callers before he finds the one that he can talk to back and forth. But you are pushing out the people that doesn't fit his narrative, and we're only concentrating on the people that do. That was my only point. So when you say he has the numbers to back it up, it's because he only talked to the ones that fit that narrative.
So we could talk about women like me, where I don't, disrespect the father of my children. And if we weren't together, I would not cut off access to him. Let's just talk about those women and ignore the idiots that don't, because that's what I'm hearing from you.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
We already know that there are good women. We know that there are great men. That's an obvious. Like, talking about that is redundant. Right. I'm talking about the ones that are not up to par and where they should be.
Right. But then you say, well, it's all because of women. But then
the majority of the time, I'm going to say that.
But yes. But the numbers don't back up 70% of men being women being single parents. It's because of the men. Like, no, you just basically said there are good men and women on both sides. But again, the number only speaks to the ones that fall into the category. If you get what I'm saying. I maybe not saying it, but if you get what I'm saying. So here's the thing. I agree with just about everything Kevin Samuel say. So that's the funny part. But I also know the things that he's saying and the people he is talking to is basically selected. You know what I mean? Like, I want to talk to the people who disagree with me. The people that
Yes,
agree with me, I don't want to talk to. It's not that, oh, I don't want to talk to them. It's that, okay, well, we kind of agree. So there's need for us to talk about the same thing. Like, it'd be like yes and yes and yes and yes. I get that. But my point is, when you start talking about the statistics, damn, I can't even talk. When you start talking about the numbers, it's like you X that whole group of people out. You see what I'm saying? That's all I'm
because
saying.
these numbers don't include them. That's the point. These numbers include single parent homes. We don't need to talk about two parent homes. We don't need to talk about women that don't live in the inner city and they're actually providing for themselves without the state assistance. There's no reason to talk about those women because they have an understanding of A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I'm specifically talking about a certain demographic of people that get overlooked and ignored. I don't see why we don't spend more time sitting and talking about what's actually going on there. We could talk about good women and good men all day. It'll be unicorns and rainbows. But until we talk about the women that don't act like women, we're never going to get anywhere. We spend so much time talking about where men drop the ball, men do this, men do that. Well, I'm mad. I don't feel protected. You don't do enough for me. What are you doing? What about yourself? When does that self-reflective moment happen? And like I said, I used to have that mentality. So I'm not speaking from a place of ignorance. I was there. You shift blame onto everybody else except for yourself because you don't want to take responsibility. It's easier to do that. So if the father of my children was a crap dude, you know what I would say? Damn, I chose a bad man. And now I got to live with the fact that I'm going to have to be a single parent. Why can't they have that mentality? Why blame it on other people? Well, you don't want to be here. You don't want to do this. Okay, he don't want to do that. He don't want to do this. But you made that decision. You made it. And now you have to live with it. Stop having children. Stop having sex. It's not hard to close your legs. It's not hard to remain abstinent. It's like really not. Sex is not that big of a deal for you to ruin your life over it. Same goes for men. Keep it in your pants. Stop sleeping with any and everybody and be selective about it because you could run into that ain't shit dude. You could run into that ain't shit woman that's going to give you hell raising your kid. But at the end of the day, you made that choice. Nobody else did it for you. That's all I'm saying. We can't keep absolving women of responsibility. I would have to carry that burden and I would have to figure out how to raise my kids in this atmosphere. The mama didn't have sex by herself. Why do women do that? As if I just completely left out men.
You did.
No, I didn't. I just spent all this time talking about dudes, keep it in your pants.
That's the only thing you said about it. Dude, keep it in your pants. But it was,
Oh my God.
look, I'm with you. There's blame to go around. Women need to be more accountable to the guys they sleep with or for the guys they sleep with. I'm with you there.
No, it's all men's faults.
No, I'm not even saying that. But what I'm
talking
saying,
about I'm just messing with the audience.
okay. I'm just saying
It's
like
just men.
yeah. I was just saying like the 70% shouldn't just have been just dumped just on women. That was my only point. But I agree with you. You know what I mean? Like people just have to make smarter decisions. I've always said that if a woman has a child by a man who has other children he's not taking care of, then yes, that was a dumbass decision. You know what I mean? But if a guy doesn't have any kids and he just doesn't decide to take care of yours, then I mean there was a disconnect there somewhere. You know what I mean?
So since you brought that up, because I was just about to say that, how many black women have that story of the man that they had children with already having kids that they don't take care of, and they have kids with them anyway.
Yeah, that's a big story. Hold on, I gotta run upstairs and grab my charger.
Sure.
I didn't know we was gonna be talking this long. Hold on one second.
I'm not saying that there are any crap men. I'm sick of talking about men, quite frankly. I'm tired of talking about men. How long are we going to blame men? Until Kevin Samuels came along, who the hell was holding women accountable? Nobody.
Well,
Nothing run. What? Women have sex to be loved? I think you should speak for yourself, because sex doesn't equate love. I don't know who, and if that's what women are doing, you need to be told you're wrong, because sex doesn't equal love. Period. That, like, once again, we're removing responsibility away from women. Oh, well, women only have sex because they want to be loved and men don't. How do you know there's not a man out there that looks at sex the way a woman does? My husband's the same way. Go ahead.
I'll be right back.
It's not just I want to get off and get a nut. Like, I don't understand. I really don't understand, man. I don't. When we talk about the Black community and we talk about statistics and we talk about what's actually going on, you guys are on the same page. Yes, we need fathers. Yes, women need to do better. Yes. But when we get on the subject of talking about single parents, that whole theory goes out the window. Like, completely out the window. Then the excuses come in. Well, women have sex for love. Are you serious? Where's your self-esteem? Where's your, I guess we just leave it there. Where's your self-esteem that you're going to look to sex as if that's love? I don't know. It's funny they keep making the same mistake and they don't know why they keep being treated the same, but they keep dating and sleeping with the same kind of men. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. If you know, like, when you know, okay? Women aren't stupid. We're not stupid. You keep repeating the same thing and you get upset when you get the same results. So you can't be that tired. You got multiple kids with the same man with the same background. Make that make sense. And then you blame dudes. Like, what? Where does that make sense at? It's not my fault. Well, he left. I wonder why.
In that situation, I agree with you. That's in that situation, that blame squarely falls on the woman. If you keep having kids by the same type of guy that keeps leaving, then that's a bad choice. You know what I mean? That I agree with you there. I just think, like I said, I've been around enough dudes to know that them niggas ain't shit sometimes too. You know what I'm saying? That's all.
Yes, I'm a woman, so I'm gonna hold women to a different standard. I'm not cutting you any slack. Um, what you have between your legs and up here is valuable, and somebody needs to tell you that. And if we don't have other women willing to stand up and say these things, then we're gonna have a constant generation of people that look to sex as to somebody that loves them, and that's the farthest thing from the truth. So that's why I speak, because I know some people wonder, why are you always talking about women? I'm a woman, and there are young girls that need to hear this. Respect yourself, because ain't nobody else going to do it for you. And you shouldn't expect anybody else to do it for you, because the world owes you nothing. Absolutely nothing. Oh, why is this so small? I believe that women should treat themselves and body as a temple, have morals, values. Don't sleep with guys just because they're good looking, have big muscles, and they aren't everything. We're on the same page.
On the same page. Agreed.
Yes, makes sense. We need to value and respect ourselves. Don't you think if more women respected themselves, like truly respected themselves, we wouldn't have all these things going on?
Agreed. Yes. There's like I told you, I definitely agree with what you're saying. What Samuelson be saying. Samuel say. I just disagree with the thought that the 70% should have just been laid at one size foot. That was the only thing I disagreed on. But yes.
No, I don't. So my mom was forced into single parenthood. She was. Okay. And I do believe that she was a minority because there's more good than bad. There's more good than bad. So can I say, I'm going to say the majority of those homes are not interested in having the dad there. And I can say that because you go back home and you see what's what, and they don't want the dad around. They don't feel like he's necessary. My co-host, he told a story about how his wife's best friend said she wanted to get IVF so she don't have to deal with a baby dad. You know how many other women have that same thought process? Well, I don't need you. Just give me a kid.
That's a minute number, I think.
I think you should talk to Black women, not just the ones you know. I think you should talk to all of them,
but see,
and get a general consensus as to what they want.
Yes, I agree, but I don't think, first of all, I just don't think social and economically women are just saying, yes, I just want a kid with no help. Like, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right. Secondly, most women couldn't afford in vitro if you wanted it to. You know what I'm saying? That's not an easy thing to afford. So I just don't think women, Black women especially, just walk around like, yeah, let's have a kid. You know what I mean? I don't need your help. But like, that's not the situation. I think a lot of times what happens is, like I said, now I'm trying to read the comments. I'm sorry. But like, but like I said, shit, he done made me fuck up and be thought. You know what I'm saying?
I just want you to get to know modern day women. I want you to get to know them so well. I promise you I do.
See, my point is this. Like, where I come from, all right? Yeah, where I come from, the economic area that I was raised in, there aren't women just saying, yes, I want to have a baby and I don't need a man. That's not the situation. What is happening is women haven't been taught how to be wives. They haven't been taught how to communicate effectively with men. And that comes down the pike. And what I mean by that is most Black people are raised in single parent households, as you stated. The issue is they've never seen their mom having to be submissive to a man. They've never seen their mom having to basically do anything other than her point of view. And it's because, I stated this a long time ago on my Facebook, it's because they haven't had a stable man in the household long enough for them to actually be submissive to that man. You see what I'm saying? And that goes in point to their choices in men also. Kids growing up never seeing their mom be submissive or never seeing their mom having to talk things out. Damn, somebody at my door. Hold on.
That's okay. He's proven what I'm saying. Why are these kids growing up this way? They're not with their dad. And even if the dad is not in the picture, you can still teach your child how to be an effective wife, how to communicate, how you're supposed to do this, because you know they're going to grow up and need that in life. Like, you know that. So teach it to them. Okay, he's back.
So,
Go ahead.
But you, just like you said, like your mom never taught you those skills, correct?
Mm-hmm.
That's something you had to learn basically on the fly, right? So
I learned it in marriage, so I guess.
You say you learned it in marriage.
Yes.
But you had to be marriage material before somebody proposed to you. Unless he just found
I got married when I was 20. I don't think anybody's really marriage material at that age. I don't know.
I get where you're coming from. But when women haven't been shown an effective way to communicate with men, it gets passed down. They've taught independent. They are taught that they can do it alone because they've seen their mom do it alone, supposedly not healthily, not in a healthy environment, but they seen their mom scrape by. They were able to get Jordans and all type of shit like that, so they thought they had a good childhood. When in fact, their parents, their single mom, didn't teach them the communication skills or anything like that to be able to thrive with a man in the household. So when that mentality is passed down from generation to generation to generation, it creates, like we was talking before, it creates an attitude of self-reliance. And it's not that I don't need a man, it's not that I don't want a man, it's that I haven't seen anybody with a man in my family. So I don't even know how to communicate to a man when we are upset, when I'm angry, when I'm feeling sad, or any other emotion that I may have. So I think that adds to the single parent type of situation or the single parent numbers. You see what I'm saying? I know I went around a circle a few times, but
no. I mean, I understand what you're saying, and that's true, but there's still a lack of accountability there. Yes, you don't know those things. I didn't know those things, but when my husband would tell me these things and I started to see different things, I did a complete 180. I didn't stay and say, no, this is how I was raised. I don't need a man. I don't need A, B, C, D, E, F, G. No. Okay, this is how I'm supposed to conduct myself. So let me do this. And life has been so much more peaceful and enjoyable.
But you're talking about at 20 with 0 kids, right?
I had a son.
Okay, well, at 20 though, right? You can be I don't want to sound bad, but you can be reprogrammed at 20. We're talking about women at 28 to 30 to 35, that range. When you've been living this life of single parent for years on end, it's hard to be reprogrammed. Now, I'm not saying that it's not their fault because they should know how to communicate with a man. I'm just saying that at 20 is different than being out here in these streets running around, going from man to man, and then trying to flip it on at 30. You see what I'm saying?
Of course.
So that was my only point.
How are these women going to change? Accountability.
That's true.
If somebody is constantly telling you, yo, your attitude is messed up, you need to change these things about yourself. If you're single and no guy wants to be with you, that's the man's fault. Like, just literally sit here and think about this. And you can hop off if you need to, because I know it's getting late. We've been on here for almost an hour. What do you mean? Do you think I had somebody sit down and tell me this is how you conduct yourself in a marriage? No. It came with trial and error and me being open enough to acknowledge when I'm wrong. That's basic. That's 1 + 1 is 2. What? What do you mean how they're supposed to learn? Look yourself in the mirror and have conversations with yourself. And if you have an older gentleman like Kevin Samuel is actually willing to sit down and talk to you, maybe you should just for a second tune into what he's saying and take it in. Same thing with the man. He gets on men too. I don't know why people ignore that.
That's true.
Why do a woman want to be with your flat, what do you say? What do you say? Fat, sloppy ass. You just sitting here, you ain't doing nothing with yourself. You don't have anything to offer a woman. Tell people. Hold them accountable. That's what you do. Stop giving them excuses.
Well, soon I got to off.
Hop off. It was good to talk to you.
Yes, ma'am. Hit me up anytime.
Yeah.
All right.
We hear that all the time. Close your legs, be more feminine, raise your kids better, etc. We've heard these things every day of our lives. Maybe I'm alone. I didn't hear that growing up. If you don't understand, if you are 25, matter of fact, if you're 21 and you don't understand personal accountability, then I don't know what to tell you. We're allowing generations to mature much later in life than they should be. Much later in life. And I'm going to open the lines up to you guys. If you want to hop on here, I'm going to put the link in the description. If you're not mature until you're 25, 30 years old, bro, that's a problem. That's a problem. Lord, help me. Help me. Oh, man. I don't know. It's like we've given excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse as to why people are not where they should be in life. They're just not. And that's a sad thing. They don't even have to hear Kevin Samuels to look in the mirror and hold themselves accountable. They don't. And Kevin Samuels, everybody knows who he is. Jonathan, man. I think I need to send you the link, bro. I didn't go where I wanted to go with him, and I sent you the link to Eric. I did not go where I wanted to go with him because he started out there. They don't feel protected. They don't have anybody to protect them. And then he brought up the study of, well, Black women don't get help if they're at the side of the road. And it's like, there's every excuse in the book for why you can act like a bitter baby mom or just a bitter woman altogether. Every excuse in the book. So because somebody won't help you change a tire, bro, you don't feel protected. Because you first of all, women fight men. And you tell men, I don't need you. I can do this by myself. The whole mantra of women empowerment is I'm equal to a man. I can do whatever a man can do, and I can do it better. So why do you want him to step in to stop somebody from fighting you? Are you independent all the time or sometime? When does it turn off and on? Like, how are men supposed to know that? You're putting these things out into the world. You don't need a man. Okay? So when men pull back from helping you or having anything to do with you, then it's, I don't feel protected. Does anybody else understand where I'm coming from? And if you want to hop on, the link is in the description. Please refresh, come on here and give your point of view, because I truly don't understand. I really don't. I don't spend my time going in on men because those people that don't step up and do what they need to do in life, those aren't men. Those are boys. There's a difference. And it is definitely harder for a man in this environment to be a dad. They don't have any rights in the court system. They don't have any rights as parents. Like I said, a woman automatically has custody of a child if the parents aren't married. And no man should have to go to court to get custody of his flesh and blood. It should automatically be done. I don't even agree with child support because it's not used on the child. Ask me how I know. Go ask a bunch of Black folks in the Black community where their child support check is at. And I can guarantee you it's in their mom's pocket. Tell me I'm lying. I feel like we're in I don't know where we are. I'm going to mute you, Jonathan, because we got feedback. Thank you for coming on. I don't know where the hell we are as a society. Like, I'm so serious that we can say these things. And how do you know? Go ask. Go ask, okay? Ask somebody. Ask somebody who don't got their dad in their life, and all their dad does is pay a child support check. Ask that kid, do they have the card? Ask that kid, do they get it at 18 when it's time for them to go? Ask them. Ask me. Not every child gets to see a child support check. It's a fact. And your daughter's mom was a good mom. She didn't touch her daughter's money. But women like that are a minority. Why are we having such a hard time regurgitating that? I mean, it's like swallowing that, not regurgitating. Why? Eric. Oh, Jonathan, Eric, you guys are men here. So I'm just going to sit back and I'm going to let you guys give your opinions because I'm lost, man.
First off, can you hear me okay, or is it?
Yeah,
pretty much.
I can hear you.
It was, I mean, it was an interesting conversation you guys were having, but at the same time, it's like I was like, "Come on, man, come on." It's like I know you want to try to ride for the other side of here right now, but it's like, come on, man. We talking about this accountability, like it's been bared out for the last I don't know how many years. Like it's the thing where men get this level of accountability, and Black men, we have to take accountability for so much. And the moment we try to be like, okay, we don't even want you to take the majority. We just want you to share it. It's a problem. And it's like it is ironic because when you think about it, like we're talking about Kevin Samuels, it's like he literally says this like with this type of thing. Like the moment you start asking for this accountability, they go what do you call it, sign language, shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. It's like they instantly go to all of those things when the accountability becomes equal. It's like you can't ask for it for your men, but then not ask for that for yourself. And it's like that's all we're asking. We're not asking for women to be lower or to anything like that. It's just like own your part of this. It's like like the dysfunction in our romantic relationships is not just the men in those relationships. Like you play a part as well.
Yeah, there's a Black man on this screen. I have more of a Black audience now than I do white. Just to let you know, when you look at the demographics of my viewers, why do I need to talk about white people? Can anybody tell me why I have to spend my time talking about a community that I don't come from? Anybody?
I can't think of a single good reason. I'll take issue with a couple of things here. So I don't think and I apologize. I think his name is Donja, right?
Donye, yeah.
Donye. Okay. I don't fundamentally think that he is completely off base. I think there's some confusion in his sentiment, right? And one of the things I said earlier in the comment section is that for me, this issue definitely toes the poverty line. So I understand if we want to talk about it on the white side, Caucasian side, Asian side, black side, whatever. We can talk about it that way, or we can talk about it as the fundamental issue that I think that it is, which is more of a poverty issue. And somebody, there's been a few people talking about it in the comment section. And I'll just point this out, guys. Poverty is everything in our country. If we're really talking about an identity politics that changes the demographic of the way you live and the way you grow up in life, it's poverty line. It's not what group did you come from or anything like that. So I'm just going to put that in there as kind of some understanding of what I'm going to get at, which is if we want to talk about the Black community, and I'm not an expert, but I can look at statistics and I can extrapolate meaning. For me, the issue that I take most personally is that a lot of the community seems to be driven around checks. So when you have a single parent household, they are institutionally going to always get a better government subsidy than a two-parent household because there is the expectation of one of those two parents to not just be the sole provider, but to also be out working and providing from a financial standpoint. So I don't really have anything to add to the conversation other than to specifically look at the economics of the situation and realize that that is where a predominant majority of the break with the community starts on either side of any spectrum of racial difference.
Oh no, man. Now we're blaming molestation. I'm a victim of sexual abuse. That and I never said all women. Nobody here heard me say that all Black women were like that. Clearly I'm Black. So I don't feel the need to say not all, because it's obvious 1 + 1 = 2 at this point. And it's not a conservative angle. This is basic life. Like life.
It's way more of a human rights issue than it is a Black community issue. And that's, so I'm going to take aim at the issue specifically. Guys, this is about socioeconomic policies that increase the chances for women to stay inside the home by having more kids continually throughout years. And if we don't see a problem in that, we got to talk different conversation, because we're not even meeting in the middle on the facts anymore. It doesn't matter whether you're white or Black. This problem plagues each community that falls below the poverty line almost identically across the line statistics.
So with all that Danye said, wouldn't that percentage numbers be high? What are you saying? Like what specifically are you talking about? Danye is talking about a minority in our community. He's not talking about the majority of women. He's not, bro. And we're specifically talking about, parts of the inner city, and I will even middle class a little bit. They have more of an understanding of like, damn, I got to take responsibility. Let me stop blaming people. But they do have that sense of victimhood mentality. But we're talking about a certain demographic of women that we can never seem to talk about without somebody getting in their feelings. Let's talk about white people. Let's not and say we did. How about that?
Again, I'll speak to the specific issue. It's a socioeconomic one. And, I can't speak to the larger and broader necessarily community issues. I can only speak to the statistics that I know, and so I'm going to put that out there. This is it's a socioeconomic issue for me. The way that I look and break those stats down, that's how it plays out in my mind. And then in these comments, I said earlier that statistics are very objective, but almost always a person's opinion of those things are subjective. So again, I'm giving my subjective opinion about what are, I think, objective statistics.
Okay. We got somebody else on here. Laura, Is
Yes,
it Laura? Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
Laura. I was in the chat, and one of the
Okay.
reasons why I'm sorry. First of all, I do like your show. I do have a lot of conservative views. However, I wanted to say something about a lot of the agenda and socialization for real that has
Mhm.
been going on in America. A lot of it is BS, and people don't really want to talk about it. But since we're here, I want to say that do anybody remember when Dolores Tucker was called a bitch for not promoting gangster rap?
No, I don't even know who
Okay,
that
well,
is.
she was a prominent African American woman. I believe she held some sort of governmental seat. I don't know what state it was in, but she was very much against. See, this is why a lot of stuff needs to be written down and remembered because the argument has become very one-sided. So Ice Cube, all of them, Ice T, Tupac, Two Life Crew, all of them actually got together and called her a bitch. Along with Al Gore's wife. Al Gore's wife is the only person that supported her. She was called a bitch, a cunt, um, two-faced it, anti-black, all that. And let me tell you something. They're going to sit up here on YouTube and preach to the high heavens that they're perfect, but I'm just going to add some interjection. Okay, all of y'all can go look this up. Before social media got so huge, people want to blame the Illuminati for music being satanic. I get it, okay. But remember, have you guys ever seen clips of Elvis Presley? He couldn't show his waist, below his waist, whenever he would shake his butt or whatever. The music industry actually had standards. It was Two Life Crew who took their asses up to the Supreme Court to get and sue the music industry to show black women's asses on CD covers. So you got black men to thank for that. Since we want to talk some real shit and we want to talk about America and we want to blame everything on the black women, I just want to bring some shit up because a lot of stuff that has been very demoralizing to black women. They get attacked from everybody for doing right, for closing their legs. Let me tell you something. One statistic that don't make no damn sense to me that they spread around on YouTube, these pro-blacks, is that black women had the most abortions and yet they also are the only ones taking care of their kids. How is this fucking possible? Excuse my language.
We do
So
account for most of the abortions, but I
Yes.
don't think that has anything to do with moms who don't abort their kids.
Okay, well let me break it down for you. So almost
Ho-
every
One,
comment that
one second, one second. Black women willingly shake their ass on social media for Cash App.
yes, now of course.
So I'm just trying. I'm trying to find a connection. Like, what are you trying to like? What are you trying to get across?
No, the reason why I said that is because really all the sexual freedoms and revolutions, it didn't have anything to do with black women at first. At first, a lot of the men were saying, oh, black women don't give head, they don't do this, they don't do that, they're not as sexually free. So I started taking notes, and yes, I did my research. A lot of this that you're seeing now is because it's for attention. See, they think they're not good enough. Oh well, you know what? I you should be able to date who you want and do all this stuff. A lot of this was promoted by society itself, and all you got to do in order to know this is true is to just flip on the music television channel. So again, like I said, it was Two Life Crew who went and sued the Supreme Court for the right to show black women asses on TV and on CD covers. So why wouldn't they do it themselves at that point?
because people should have dignity and respect for themselves. So
But
I
then
think I
porn
understand.
also exists. So that's not the issue. The true issue is that whenever someone's left holding the bag of only the issues being straight put on them, when everybody else is being contemptible, they should also be able to reflect on how they got there. So it's not a one-way answer, obviously, because Black women didn't make Pornhub or the music video channel, TV station, or video vixens. So Black women are every part affected by what people do to them, just like everybody else.
So who did this to Black women?
Whoever owns MTV, whoever owns porn, whoever owns social media, anybody, it doesn't matter. Humans affect humans, period. If you went and started a company, a porn company, and you only hire Black women, that doesn't mean that your porn company isn't legal. It just means you only hire Black women. If you only hired white women at your porn company, that doesn't make the white community bad. It means that you only hired white women. So what I'm trying to get is, why is the talking points always solely, well, who's raising them? Everybody raised them because they wasn't born in society by themselves.
Well, everybody didn't raise me. My mom raised me.
So
my aunts raised their kids.
So what are your music influences?
I'm sorry, what?
What are your music influences?
J. Cole.
Okay. He helped shape your life then.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. He's an influence on you musically.
How can you tell me what influenced me?
Influence means whatever you like. If you like something, that's an influence. They don't have to raise you to influence you. Let's not be facetious here.
J. Cole didn't influence me,
You just said
though.
he influenced you. You just said it. You just said he influenced you.
You said, who do I listen to?
But I was showing you how somebody can influence your life without raising you. That's why. And no, before you get on my accent and try to think I'm ghetto, I'm actually very conservative and I'm smart. And I can see through the munching faces and everything.
Maybe because you're saying things that I never said. Like, you just said something that I wasn't even thinking. I wasn't even thinking that.
Because I'm already thinking ahead of what you're trying to make it seem like. You're trying to make it seem like other people can influence your life. Like, if you like J. Cole so much, how do you not know that he didn't influence you?
Hold on. Can I interject real quick? Because if we're push this much of growing up onto music, then I have a tremendous issue with
Actually,
Eminem.
I didn't. So this is where the projection is coming on me. I asked her who influenced her musically. I literally said that.
Right. And I gave you an example of one of the worst lyrical monsters in the world, who is a white man who lives in the rap world. Are you going to tell me that every school shooter that's ever been at this point is because of Eminem? Because we're disconnecting in logic. I think what you're trying to do is smart. You're trying to understand the conversation you're walking into. But when you project outwardly what somebody else might say in response to a question,
I'm not just walking into the conversation. I've been listening to this channel for months. Eminem is one of the best lyrical people in rap. But
he's a monster. He's a monster.
But he's also not.
He's trash.
Favorite. I know I wasn't going to say he's trash. Absolutely not. I was going to say he's not that many people's favorite because of the way he raps. So a lot of people think like there's not enough deftness to it. Like the words he uses are big, but when you put them together and you're listening for a message, you can't really find one. But that's besides the point.
Music doesn't raise children, people do. And so that's for me.
I didn't say that music raised children. I actually said who was her musical influence. You guys are twisting my words because you don't like what I'm saying.
I ain't gonna say that.
What's ultimately happening though is you're putting so much focus.
Another thing that I know too that a lot of people do is they like to have a narrative to stick to pretend like everything else in the society didn't happen. So now I want to know who opened the abortion clinic.
Margaret Sanger.
Okay, and what was Margaret Sanger's policies?
She didn't have policies. She just wanted to eradicate the black race.
She actually did get laws passed.
She wanted to eradicate the black race.
But are you aware of the laws she passed?
Her entire philosophy around abortion was specifically to wipe black people off of the face of the earth. She wanted no more African culture in America. So,
do you think that she was the only person like that?
No, in fact,
what does this have to do with our topic, though?
I'm getting to my point.
Okay, but you're confusing.
Can you just make your point?
And everybody, I don't
because
understand.
One of the main things that this channel is trying to do is say that it's conservative, when actually,
what?
This is not a conservative channel, because if it was, then you guys will also talk about how many people are on welfare.
We do, but that's not what this show is about.
I literally just.
I've been
Hold on. I mean, you're telling me what I don't talk about. You're really gonna sit here and tell me that I've never had a conversation about welfare, about FDR and his New Deal? That you clearly cannot have been watching me for this long if you can say what I do and don't talk about, because that's the farthest thing from the truth.
I was actually going to say that you haven't not talked about welfare under the guise of it being produced to only help single mothers. It's actually a federal law that you can't discriminate on anybody that needs it. It was never a law that said that no men can't get welfare, but it's talked about as if it's just a woman thing, specifically a black woman thing.
I don't even think I put black woman and welfare together. I didn't even talk about that in this conversation.
Not you. I said that was a comment. I didn't. So I think what's going on here is that whenever people have a channel that's based on conservatism, a lot of people just be like, "Oh, keep your legs closed, and that'll help." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, the issues are way bigger than that."
That applies to all demographics.
No, it doesn't.
100% it does.
No, it doesn't. And the reason why I'm telling you that is because if it wasn't, then why would the black community be the only people that politicians go to their church leaders and not their political leaders?
Jonathan, do you have anything to
unfortunately,
add?
I think it's because
they
hear what they want from those leaders. So
okay,
I think
so that's why it affects us worse, because politicians want to hear certain things from black leaders, and a lot of they're mostly male. They only want to hear a talking point of, "Oh, they're so helpless, so we're just going to give them church fund money," but they don't actually speak to the actual Black Caucus.
The Black Caucus has not done anything for the black community.
Okay, so it's worse. You guys are agreeing with, okay, so it's worse. If the Black Caucus don't do anything and the political people that run for office only talk to black male preachers, then what am I lying about?
Go ahead, Jonathan.
I mean, honestly, listening to all this, it's like, I don't know how we got so far from.
They act like they don't know. President Biden talks to preachers.
About black women being angry, and we're talking about accountability.
Black women angry.
And it seems like it's gotten to the point where then all these other different issues to not talk about that one. It's like,
this is a tired conversation. That's why it has less than 100 views. Because everybody knows the truth. It's not why black women are so angry.
Then why are you watching? Like this is my issue. I have been nothing but nice. I have been nothing but nice. I actually invited you on here. I invite everybody on here.
Okay,
But why take
I'm glad
shots? Like, that's weird. Nobody on. I'm not even letting anybody
take
disrespect you on here.
the thing is that it's not about taking shots. It's the faces that you're making. It's the name of your title. But you
I'm
both
gonna name whatever my title I want to name it.
okay, but what I'm telling you is that you're not clueless then. So if you got your title name, whatever you want to name it, I just asked you guys two questions that did not get an answer. I said, why doesn't the Black community's Black caucus work? No answer. And I said, why does the
We
political
weren't allowed
president
to because you
why
keep
does
talking
the
over people.
okay, why does the political president's Black leaders only go to the church figures? All right, those are my two questions. Since Black women are so angry, can anybody answer
What
that?
the fuck does that have to do with Black women in anger?
That's the title of your show.
What does a Black caucus and a Black pastor have to do with Black women in anger?
Do you not realize the title of your show? Then that means
What
everybody's
does
telling them. Duh.
what does politics have to do with Black women in
Everybody's
anger?
failing them. You just couldn't even answer
Everybody
two
is
basic
failing
questions.
them, so they don't fail themselves.
So you don't live in a world on your own?
I came from a single parent home. Don't do me.
Okay, no, you don't do me. So your mom didn't just raise you by yourself,
Don't
honey.
do
I'm
me.
sorry,
Yes, she
but you went
did.
to a
Nobody
community.
else was
No,
in the picture. I love how people can tell me about me. I love it. You're not going to tell me what my mom did and didn't do. You're the example of an angry Black woman. You're on here talking to 3 people who have been nothing but respectful to you. Your first shot was you're talking about this subject and you got less than 100 viewers. How many viewers do you have? Do you even have any to sit here and talk to me about anything? Because last time I checked, you're on my show. I didn't come to yours and get disrespectful. I'm going to unmute you, but what you won't do is disrespect me while complaining about Black women not being protected and why they are so angry because you're speaking to another Black woman. Period, point blank.
I would love a chance to address, I think, the fundamental issue that she's talking about right now. Why is the community leaders, generally speaking, not living up to the expectation or the hype?
Yes, because you don't have to gaslight to get people to watch.
What does that have to do with the subject? You keep taking shots at me.
I didn't take shots at you, but your teacher helped raise you. So did your principal. So did your
My principal did not raise shit. Audra Deneen Marsh raised me.
Did they not give you homework?
What does that have to do with raising somebody? Do you have children?
All these things, yes.
Do you have children?
So if you're not ever
Lord.
influenced by anybody else besides your parents, you know that you are. But okay, I want to hear his answer.
Go ahead, Eric.
To be honest with you, your question is so unclear that any answer I would give right now would be tremendously insufficient to the question. So I'll address, I think, part of what you've talked on, which is why the title of this specific show. I can't tell you the answer to that question, but I can tell you it provoked a lot of thought. It got everybody talking, including you.
Actually, doesn't. It
Can
doesn't.
he finish? Can he finish? Everybody's letting you talk. Extend the same grace.
This is actually a very tired gaslight. It's not working no more.
Then why are you here?
Why are you up here still talking?
No. This is tired, but you wanted to come on here and talk. Why are you here?
To challenge your view.
You're not doing anything but asking roundabout questions that we cannot answer.
I asked 2 questions that people can't answer.
The Black caucus has nothing to do with Black people being angry.
I didn't say that. Actually, you said that. That's the title of your own video.
Do I need to? Oh my gosh. It says controversy. Why do Black men allow Black women to be out of order? And why are Black women so angry? At no point. You don't even know what this show is about. You wanted to come on here and get a little bit of attention, and that's not what we're doing. Nope, that's not what we're doing. Hello, how you doing? I've seen you in the background for a little bit. Up, she hopped off. Bruh.
Like this was like the longest, like long-winded way of like not answering, not even going with the issue about accountability. Is like it just went to different things that she wanted to blame for why Black women are a certain way. Well, a certain group of Black women are a certain way. It's like, okay, are you just going to do what a lot of the women that we're talking about, this specific group, it's like you're looking for excuses for them. Like, it's like we went way from that to Dolores Tucker to the Black Caucus to, I mean, we went everywhere around. I'm like, like, I mean, I wonder who her teacher is, because she's really good at this thing right now. Really, she's really dancing like this. It's like I don't know if my feet can move that fast, but I mean, it's wow.
I don't know what you're looking for. I don't know what you want, but you're not going to get on here and talk about Black women being disrespected and then open your mouth to disrespect me. And then not even know the title of my show, because at no point did it say anything about politics or the Black Caucus or 2 Live Crew or Eminem or Ice Cube, NWA. At no point was that the conversation. You wanted to know my favorite rapper. I told you J. Cole. He influences you. It's what the fuck are you talking about?
It's
Yo.
yeah, this is classic move the goalposts on everything. I say it more unequivocally, guys. Like, when you're having a conversation with somebody and they ask you 15 questions and then accuse you of not responding with no chance to respond, that's not a conversation anymore. That's a rant. And that's okay. You can have those. But if you're asking for answers to the question, we're not going to get them if that's the continuation. So I'll observe again what I said when I jumped into the live, which was one thing, and that's a demographic issue that has to do more with money than it does with race. As far as all of the other things that were being talked about, I really don't have any idea. I have no idea what she was looking for as far as answers. I gave her examples of rappers that I think are terrible in my community. But we have to be willing to speak to one issue and then we can progress to the next. That was too much for me.
Okay.
I don't know.
Hi. I don't even know her name. The one and only. Hi.
Hey, Sonia. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm still trying to calm down. I respect everybody who respects me and the people I care about. And that woman had no respect for you or this show. And she said her name was Laura. And I'm just going to go ahead and say, you never said close to what she was even talking about. A Black woman, from what I see and what I have learned, are only victims if they let themselves be.
Absolutely.
They can be just as much as anybody else. Everybody is red, white, and blue, depending on their skin color. You can go as far as you want to go if you give it the effort. And it bothers me to the core when people, doesn't matter who it is, likes to play the victim when they haven't tried themselves.
I agree with you. Thank you for coming on here.
You're awesome. Very welcome. And I don't know if you want me to go ahead and go. I know y'all have a lot of people coming in.
Yeah. we're gonna, I'm not gonna be on here much longer, so we're gonna recycle people in and out. But I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad that people get to see firsthand exactly what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about. Like, truly. And I'm not even saying this to put her on blast, because I'm like, yo, you want to come on here? Yeah, let's go. I let her come on here. But you took a left, bro. And you took a left because you feel like you're not being understood. And you're not, but it's because you're not articulating yourself well, like at all. It's hard to even follow you in a conversation. Laura Leah, whatever your name is, I'm being real with you, man.
I think she put herself on blast. She never stopped to let anybody talk or give themselves their experience and their how they feel. And I just wanted to say, God bless you, Suni,
Thank
and
you.
keeping Cash's page alive.
Thank you.
I've
I
been watching
appreciate
him
that.
forever.
He'll be home soon.
And I'm praying for him.
All right. You have a good one.
You too. God bless.
I am like, look, oh, she's still in the comment section. I've lost respect for your channel. You won't be getting any views from me. I heard all your lies. You bashed Black women. Please light up this comment section right now. Where did I bash Black women? I'm a Black woman myself. Where?
Somebody activate the Kevin Samuel snack, please. Just I just wanted to sit there and like I wanted like my wife right there like, ma'am, I like just something to just make her man, just like dress size, just any of those things. It's like from the moment she got on, it's like I felt it. I'm like, oh, this is gonna take a hard left. It's like, yeah, this is gonna take a hard left. And I just see it. I'm like, it's going. It's over. It's like that's why for the most part I was just quiet about it. I'm like, yeah, let's just watch how far this is going to go because it's I just don't get it. Like she says she watches your show all the time and all of this stuff, but yet claims that you never spoke about what was it, welfare. I'm like, I've seen that on multiple shows. It's like, oh, you don't talk about this. No, you've all seen that too. It's like I've commented on many of those things. It's like that's how I know. Like I've commented on many of these things. So it's like I know she talks about these issues. The thing is, we're talking about a different topic. We're talking about a specific topic, and you're going over to way over here somewhere to the Black Caucus. It's like how does your brain go from why are Black women angry to the Black Caucus? The Black Caucus, that's where we need to focus on. That's why women are in the state that they're in. It's like,
okay, no, you're fake. My husband is Black. My husband is Black as well. This is racist to Black women.
shame.
So,
I kind of for just because for entertainment purposes, bro. I want to bring you back on here so bad. You don't know how bad I want to click your name back up here.
Don't give her that attention. Please don't.
I swear, man.
It's
yeah,
like,
so I would love to address this really quickly because she's, her opinion is important, just as everybody else's. I will make that known. Now, are some more relevant than others? For sure. And in this case, I think hers is not very relevant. And Jonathan, you're right. We talk about welfare all the time. We talk about poverty all the time. I talk about it in almost every show we do because I think it is the single defining factor between the haves and have not.
Mm-hmm. Socioeconomic, yeah. You're definitely right.
And I always make sure to point out, that look, a lot of what people point to as racial issues, I think are just flat out misunderstood statistics that fall way closer to the poverty line than they ever will to a racial statistic. And I talk about that. I mean, I literally talk about that. I think like every night at some point that conversation always comes up. So look, guys, we're not avoiding any part of this conversation. We want to have the whole conversation. We can only have the piece that we're dealing with at that time. And this train was 15 cars deep.
Yo, oh man, Lord help me, Lord.
Lord help us.
I've been doing this for damn near 2 years now. Damn near 2 years. I don't ever bash Black folks. All right. I didn't gain my following off of bashing black folks. I gained a following from giving a no nonsense approach to just life issues down to politics. Everybody knows what they're going to get when they watch me. That's it. See, a part of me feels like this, and this is exactly why I don't interact with people like this. This is why. You're not popular. This is not high school. How many people know your name in a household? Because that's a blessing to be a household name and have people come to see you speak. Do you understand why people tune in here? And you definitely understand, or maybe you don't, but it's called a shadow ban. I'm so confused, bro. Jay Starks, I'm going to kick you off of this live if you say some weird shit like that again. I'm telling you right now, bro. Don't do that. I am a married woman, and I'm not interested in what the hell you got going on like that, dude. Don't do that. We already know it's not just black women. 1 + 1 is 2. Eric already said that. I'm not speaking about the other demographic because I'm not from there. If you want to hear about white women, then start a show or go to somebody who's talking about those things.
And I just want to shoot. I hope I'm never out of pocket. This is part of the reason I do this with Suni is because, look, we are from different demographic backgrounds. To deny that is stupidity. But that doesn't mean we don't have a ton of shit in common. And one of the things we have in common is that we don't deal with nonsense in this way. When we have reasonable conversation with reasonable people, we almost always find tremendous amounts of common ground. I didn't hear you wanting to have a conversation. I heard you wanting to have an argument. And there is a tremendous difference. Now, I don't listen to Kevin Samuels a lot, but this is one of the things he talks about often, right? Is cooler heads prevailing. And in relationships, I mean, listen, Laura, you probably are very nice and there's probably lots of things we agree on. But when we're interacting on this level, there is nothing that there's no person in the world that could appease you. And so I'm not going to sit here in an echo chamber. That's for sure. I'm definitely not going to do that. I come on with Suni because she brings a different perspective than I grew up with. And I bring, in turn, I hope, a very different one than she grew up with. And this is the point, guys. Our party is diverse. It's tremendously big. There's a lot in common. And this infighting about, well, it's about what music you like. Like, it doesn't matter what music you like, to be frank with you. Like, it's an ad hominem attack. It makes literally no sense to the substance of the issue. So let's talk about statistics. Let's talk about people being objective or subjective to those statistics. And then let's roll on that conversation to where we agree. Laura, you said this isn't a conservative page. I disagree with you in every aspect of the way. This is a conservative place where people come to hear new ideas about how conservatism can be exercised. We're doing that. We're marking the path and we're each walking it every day. So I don't see where you're at with this.
What the? He just quoted Jesse Lee Peterson. Oh man. Guys, if you want to hop off, you can hop off. I don't know why I'm so intrigued with talking to her. And I never attacked you, dude. You're straight lying. You're lying.
Yeah,
I put you back where you needed to go because you're not going to disrespect me on my show. So if you can't handle that, Jonathan, are you going to stay off or are you going to hop on? Stay on.
And I'm gonna stay on.
Okay. I'm going to bring you up here. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Eric.
I'm going to bounce, but I wanted to jump in. Suni sent me the link and wanted me to come in here. And I think the reason why is because You know, a lot of my perspective is this big world picture. So, guys, I'm going to break it down for you. Okay, Suni's title of controversy, and then her description. It got everybody to look at this page today, right? Big world picture. The issue at hand is fatherless homes. It breaks down across economic, socioeconomic lines.
Mhm.
And the Black community, unfortunately, is bearing the brunt of that.
Absolutely.
So let me be clear in my position, which is that socioeconomic lines are where this issue comes from. It is predominantly the Black majority, or excuse me, the Black community's issue right now. I think it's a huge part of the fundamental question of how do we get to a fixed culture.
Mhm.
But to that end, I'm only one man, and I guess, am allowed, according to some, to observe the culture from the outside. And I just disagree with that fundamentally. So on that note of controversy, I'm going to leave with this. I am an astute individual. I am capable of critical thought, and I will always, always, always listen to other people's point of views. I will not be railroaded. I will not be talked over, and you will not get me to secede to stupidity. So tonight, I hope you all have a wonderful evening. I hope you start with your home, you go to your city, and you go to your state and make some changes. I love y'all. Have a good one.
See, man. I'm glad everybody's finding this page. Welcome, guys. Now, I'm going to bring you on, and I'm going to allow you to talk, because that is my personality. Regardless of how you're trying to depict me, I'm super respectful, and I'm super open to conversation. But I'm only going to let you on, bro, if you're not going to be disrespectful. The second you hop out of pocket, it's a wrap. So I hope that you can listen to that and understand it and conduct yourself as such. Because the second you don't, Laura, I'm going to bid you farewell.
Okay. I wanted to say that there's over 2 million Black men in jail or in prison or incarcerated in some form or way because they joined the Bloods and the Crips. Now, I don't understand why, if we're going to talk about the issues, then we're going to just skip over everything that happened and the aspects of the Black Caucus not really dealing with issues. This is what I was talking about. Before we start talking about people that's running for president, only speaking to Black male leaders that go to church. And so after this, you know, I'm saying that we're all influenced by everybody. So if you're constantly overlooked and then people be like, how dare you? Just look at the title. It's like, what? That's a slap in the face. That's what I wanted to say.
Okay. I don't think anybody is going to disagree with you here about the Black Caucus. I don't like the Black Caucus. No conservative likes the Black Caucus because they're useless. So can you, like, what is it that you disagree with? Like, what is it that I'm doing that's so fake and wrong?
Because in the comment section and the title, it was looking like, and I said this before, it wasn't necessarily you I was disagreeing with. It was the comment section that was only piggybacking and bandwagon society's woes on Black women. And I said that before we got into the discussion about J. Cole.
Okay.
There's a whole lot more going on with that whole issue. Nobody ever talks about Black men selling crack, how a lot of their baby moms were on drugs themselves. They had lookout kids on the corner. See, nobody wants to talk about this. Nobody's perfect. So when you are being in an endless cycle of violence, of course the women got affected. Duh. And it's like, well, just close your leg. That isn't, it doesn't work like that. But that's all I wanted to say.
Okay, so what's your solution?
My solution is that women who are in these positions don't date dusties, and they got to quit being berated for doing so. Because the second they say, okay, well, we don't want to date these kind of guys, people go, well, who do you think wants you? You ugly. oh well, y'all you gotta start wearing fake hair first, and you know what I'm saying? Like it's like, okay, well maybe if when they do make it out the ghetto, how about like, you know, try not to like, you know, on every post that's on, you know, them being on social media is like 10,000 4-page long hate letters. You know what I'm saying? You know, there's a lot going on that is not that conservatives have great ideas. And I want to just incorporate that if they're going to reach out to Black women in society, there's a lot of stigma there. It's not so much as an anger issue. A lot of Black women are stigmatized. For example, look at Serena Williams. Every time she goes to a tennis match, she's booed. Oh, that's a man. No, no, it's not. If she's not your type, if you think she's ugly, fine, but she's not a man. And I'm just keeping it real. But if anybody else wants to say something to me, I'm fine. That's okay. I got thick skin. I have brothers. They used to call me ugly too, so I don't mind.
Okay. Nobody's gonna do that to you on here. I don't know why you're walking into this thinking that people are gonna insult you. That I don't do that on my show. I don't go off on people until people get disrespectful with me. I I don't know how else to explain it, to relate it.
Look at Shelly.
somebody-
That's what I mean.
If somebody made it out, which is I'm one of those people, and I'm telling you how to get out, you can't get mad at the ways I'm telling you how to get out.
I'm not in the ghetto. I mean, you know, people
I'm
might
not speaking
like
about you. I'm speaking about these people that we're talking about. If
Okay.
you want to leave and you want to function in society outside of those parameters of being in the inner city, then you need to adapt. And
Well, of
being
course.
angry is not going to help you adapt. It's
Well,
actually
yeah,
being
not just
being open-minded and being able to self-reflect and talk about all these things. And you brought up Serena Williams. I got on people. Ask Jonathan. I said, for everybody out here making fun of this girl, it's probably why she went and fucked her face up the way she did. You don't know me, so I don't expect you to know the stuff that
How
I
do
talk
you
about.
assume that I don't know you? I'm not saying
You
just you. I'm
don't.
talking about the comment section. I've actually been watching for a while. You have 100 people watching. Everybody don't comment. Everybody don't comment. But I wasn't just saying that. The reason why I'm speaking up is because I feel like a lot of people like giving negative attention to Black women. They like to just like tear them down for attention. They're not necessarily interested in them.
Well, that's not this channel. So
Okay. Well, then I'm gonna move along. And my other point I want to make is, I want to say that if let's say for instance, like if you're always in a constant cycle of poverty, right? The tools is they can be there and they don't care. I mean, like illiteracy. And I'm not just talking about can't read on a first grade level. I'm talking about don't know how to read business applications, don't know how to work email, don't know how to send attachments, don't know how to write a resume. That's what when I say illiterate, I'm literally mean illiterate. And I do understand a lot of the talking points that people are talking about. But what I'm saying is when you're 8 and you got your cousin's baby on your hip and you're trying to do your homework and your mama's smoking weed and you don't know, you never met your dad, it's ideal to just break out of. People wonder why there's not so many people breaking out of there with all this access. And I'm saying that it's stigmatized to the point where now you have so many people in gangs, so many people in jail. It's just like it's on autopilot.
it is. And if we are trying to put a stop to that and tell people the truth, what's the problem?
I don't have a problem with the truth. I have a problem with how it was looking like it's only based on Black women's ability to keep their legs closed. That's
So
what I.
you heard one thing that I said,
No, no,
and
no.
you
It wasn't you. It was the comment section. I kept seeing that. And I said that in the comment section before I went on my tangent. I said, I'm about to say some things that a lot of people here are not going to like, but here it is. And then that's when I went on my comment section tangent. And then you brought me up to the show. I was expressing how Black men help to also put that cycle of poverty into the Black community. It wasn't just outside forces. It wasn't just Black women. It was Black men too. God forbid we say that.
well, that's not what this show is for. I talk about all those things, which is why I said there's no possible way that you could watch me because those topics have been discussed. I asked my audience what they would like to talk about, and they
And I
wanted to
know
talk about single parent homes and fatherlessness, which is
I
why
told you that it was the
this
comment
was a topic of conversation. When
section.
you speak, do I interject into anything that you say?
No, you don't.
So why can't you give me the same respect?
Because I have to say it like 4 or 5 times that it wasn't you, it was the comment section. I kept seeing only Black women taking the blame for everything. See, it is. Women control access to, thank you. That's my ish. That's not true.
So
Men,
women don't control access to sex.
no, no, they don't.
What the fuck? I can't even respond to that because that's insanely that doesn't make any sense. If women don't control access to sex, then how do men have sex with them?
Because a lot of women have access to relationships actually, and then through that, what they think it would be a prolonged relationship actually gets shortened to something that doesn't exist anymore. So you can go into a relationship thinking that you guys are going to be together forever. Women do it all the time. And then 2 weeks later, you can't find him. Let's not pretend like women don't do that. They do. It's like having issues with somebody having. That's why dating websites started asking people, are you looking for something serious? Because we have another server that's just for casual hookups. So no, I'm not talking about rape. See, that's the problem. I'm not talking about rape. I want to have a mature conversation. There's people that are looking for serious relationships and people that are not meeting each other. And so when the woman goes, oh, I thought it was going to be something more. I thought that you were going to marry me. And he's like, nah, that's not what I really wanted. I'm not ready for that commitment right now, and things like that. Because in our culture, the Black culture, Superfly and Shaft was glorified, and Snoop Dogg and Ice-T, and that's what I was saying. A lot of rappers and things like that, they were glorified. So these guys looking to pump and dump, they're not looking for a relationship.
So if women know that, then why are you openly engaging in sex with them?
Because a lot of men don't present themselves like that. They're not wearing signs. I mean,
Because you're on a dating app.
I'm talking about in general. I'm not on a dating app. I'm actually married.
I'm not
So
talking about you.
Okay.
Please stop being defensive.
Well, then I'm talking in general too. I'm saying we know that men and women date for different reasons.
The only way a man can have sex with a woman is if she allows. Men control access to relationships. If a man doesn't want to be with you, you're not in a relationship. If a
But
woman doesn't want to have
men
sex with
control
you, I can't speak if you're speaking over me. If a woman doesn't want to have sex, a man can't have sex with her. Women have so much power in this world, and they minimize it to about this big for the sake of sympathy. I am a woman. I've had to thrive in this world like any other woman. Yes, when you don't have somebody to teach you self-esteem, you put yourself in fucked up situations. But after the first 3 times that you do it, and you're saying it's the same cycle, something should go off upstairs and say, hey, let me not do that anymore.
And I
Instead of,
totally agree with that. But the reason why that won't change in our culture is because the men control the culture. Women might control sex, but men control the culture. And that's exactly why you have for every 10 black dudes, I'll probably say about 3, they all want to be a gangster rapper. That's not for nothing.
it's because we've allowed it. We've allowed rappers to be the role models. And when I get on here and speak against it, oh, you dogging the black community. Oh, you talking shit. No, we have allowed it. So if you want to know why we got so many boys wanting to grow up and be rappers and ball players, it's because we have allowed it. If you want it to stop, then put a stop to it.
And
Stop
that's all I
coddling
wanted
these
to,
boys.
and that's all I
Stop
wanted to
coddling
hear.
women and tell the truth about what's going on, which is all I'm doing here.
Basically, that's all I wanted to hear, because I only hear that is only said about black women. Like, okay, that's what I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear that it was everybody's freaking fault. Because it was.
Okay. I thought you said the comments. Now you're saying you heard what you needed to hear from me, and I'm really not here to tell you
No,
what
you
you
just
want to
said it.
hear.
So when the guy said that women control sex, I said that they might, but they don't control the culture, which is true.
If women stood up, okay, if Cardi B today said, I'm not subjecting myself anymore. I'm not talking about sucking dick, busting it open. I'm not talking about none of that anymore. If Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj, all those women decided to stand up and stop talking about it, how many other women would follow suit?
I hope they all would. I don't like that music.
You're not answering my question. If they stood up today,
I think a lot would. I think a
So-
lot would.
so
I
how
can't say how many, but I think a lot would. I think the women that are smart would. I'll put it that way.
you got anything, Jonathan?
I'll say with this, the whole topic of this, it wasn't to bash black women, it wasn't to promote hate of black women or anything of that nature. We were on this subject really discussing the part they play in this. It's like we're not saying that everything is black women's fault, or that every scenario that plays out in our community is because of black women. But at the same time, we were talking about having actual accountability for them. It's not to bash, not to hurt, not to do anything of that nature. Now the thing is how some people take accountability. They look at it like it's hate, like it's bashing. But the overall, the big picture of it is to make our community better. It's always to make our community better, to improve us. And it's like we have to have those kind of conversations, and we have to have them in good faith. The problem is people don't want to have those conversations in good faith. People want to get on and be disingenuous, or they don't want to have that actual conversation and get to the point where black men, black women, we can have this understanding. Okay, this is where I messed up. This is where I messed up. Okay, we did those things. Now we need to come together. We need to figure out what we can do to heal and go from there and make this right, so the next generations, they don't have to go through the same thing. Now, we always talk about like holding men accountable. We do. But at the same time, we're holding women accountable. And the moment that happens, the idea is now that because we're holding black women accountable, it's like it's bashing, and it's not that. And like we have to be honest in this, and that's the whole thing when I say like having a good faith conversation about it. It's like we have to truly go into this and say, you know what, am I doing this to really improve the dynamics in black relationships and the black family, or am I just getting in this to have an argument? Am I getting in this just to be argumentative and show that I'm right and that it's all their fault, or it's all this person's fault, or it's all their fault? It's like it's not about that. It's about having the honest conversation. And I know, like you say, like it looked like this from the comments or from this, that, and the other. People are going to have their opinions about different things. People are going to have, different viewpoints of why this is that and certain things like that. But at the same time, this wasn't something where we're just trying to put the blame on Black women's shoulders or anything like that. It's the conversation about correction. In our community, we have to make some corrections. It's like we have to be honest about it. Okay, we got this messed up issue here. We need to correct it. We don't need to continue on with this same cycle of bad behavior and normalize it and just say, well, don't worry about that. What about this behavior over here? We correct that, like, well, no, well, you guys used to do this, so that's why we continue to do this. We have to eventually correct that behavior. We have to cut it off at the root, because if we don't, it's going to be an overwhelming problem at some point or another, and it's going to be an ongoing cycle. That's the thing. Like, we're trying to eliminate those type of behaviors in our community, not normalize dysfunction, not normalize toxic type behavior. So with that, I mean, it's that's what the conversation is about. It's not about attacking anybody. And from knowing Suni, like watching her lives and her different posts and things like that, it's like I can honestly say, like, I've never seen her bash Black women, Black men, the Black community at all. The only thing she's ever talked about in the context of any of her posts is about accountability and doing what we need to do to elevate ourselves, and not looking to just put some blame somewhere and continue with the dysfunction. It's about, okay, like, we know this is happening in our community. We know this is the issue. This is the issue. How do we get past that? And how do we do better? How do we go from where we are right now? How do we get here? How do we get to that next point? That's what the conversation is about. Now, because people people get sensitive, they like certain things touch a nerve, and I get that. But nerves are going to have to be touched if we're going to get to that next level. Like in any other demographic, they've had those conversations or are having those conversations. And honestly, that's part of the reason why you see so many elevating past us, because they're willing to go into those things and have those conversations. We're still fighting over having the conversation. We can't continue to keep fighting over having the conversation. We have to say, you know what? We fought about this. No, we're going to have the conversation. I may not like to hear it, but I'm going to hear it. That's the main thing. We're going to have that conversation. I'm going to hear it. I'm going to listen. I'm going to apply. You're going to listen. You're going to apply the information. And through all of that, we're going to figure it out where we can be better, and we're going to do it. We're going to make this happen, even if it's not for our generation to see the fruits of it, for the next generation, so they don't have to go through that same thing. Because if not, there are going to be people 80 years from now on platforms just like this trying to have the same discussion. That's not what we want. That's not what anybody wants out of this. So, I mean, that's what this is about. I mean, if it's not about that, I mean, what are we on here for? But let me, I'm gonna stop ranting. I'm gonna go here. I said my piece.
For that, I wanted to say that a lot of the content I see on YouTube is based solely on what Black women need to fix. And perfect example of that is the recent blow up that was Derek Jackson. There is a certain amount of responsibility that everybody has to take. I totally agree with that. But as long as we don't look at the roles that everyone is playing, then there probably won't be any Black people in America in about 50 years. And this is the honest dialogue that I wanted to have, is I wanted to keep it honest, because see, for all the stuff that's being said, a lot of people, men included, and look, I don't care who preference who, but they're dating out and everything like this. So, and then you have this cycle of violence going on, but then you have the elite Black people who, their lives are good. Like, Jay-Z and Beyonce. So you have actually a very fractured community. It's not cohesive. And this is what, when people just dismiss people like me and be like, oh, what did they know? Actually, I've looked at both parties and I see flaws in the ways that they handle the leadership. And when I talked about the Black Caucus, the reason why I brought them up is because they're a perfect example of having power and doing absolutely nothing with it. And that's one of the major reasons why there isn't economic accountability, educational accountability, and medical accountability. Well, I don't know how to say that word. Go ahead.
I think you may mean like responsibility with our health and things like that. I'm not sure if that's your point. You can let me know. That's what I gathered from it when you said medical responsibility.
Yeah, hospitals, their, clinics, things like that. I don't see a medical industry in the Black community. There ain't no beaches in the hood. There's bullet holes in pee. We want these women to turn out so perfect, and then look at where they live.
I don't want them to turn out perfect. If I get on here and I talk and I'm telling you how to get out and I'm telling you it's not going to work, if you're just going to come back and fight me, what else can I do at that point? I can't make them listen. I can't make
Yeah, I
them
know.
understand what I'm saying. And half the time I talk about these things, bro, I get called a coon, a sellout, a bedwench. They don't want to hear this.
I didn't say any of that. I
I'm not
said,
talking about you. I'm talking about the people that we're speaking about right now.
okay, all right. Yeah, I believe that. One of the main reasons why, though, I believe is because, again, of our culture. Look at rappers. They get praised for having 15 baby mamas and stuff like that. If we really want to talk about this discussion, we need to break down our culture because it really is toxic.
It's not our culture. It's a culture that was given to us.
Okay, yeah, that too. Okay, I'll take that.
Who are raising these people that you speak of? Single Black moms. I mean, it doesn't absolve men, but it's also giving women an idea of how much influence you actually have. You have a lot of influence over your kid. So instead of emulating Cardi B, be better. Do something different.
Yeah, I agree with that. And but when I see comments like that, I see men, to me, it looks like men are trying to absolve themselves of being absent. And that's very dangerous because an absent father is responsible for the community looking the way it is because they joined gangs and they made it popular to be a wretched. So it's not okay to me.
How did we get there, though? How did we get there? How did we get to the point where we have beta males instead of strong alpha men?
Okay, I'll be honest. One major way that happened is that the Black, and I'm gonna be honest, Black leadership, which was majority men at the time, have been on the side of the Social Democrats for the greater point of 60 or 70 years. So of course, Black women are also going to turn out liberal. So you have a lot of different aspects of this, but they did achieve civil rights. But then after that, it's like, all these social programs weren't just by themselves alone that helped. It was the desperation of everybody that was trying to find their way up north to the west, go down south even, and build them up a community that was thriving. What they actually did was they just kept voting Democrat without having any of their issues addressed. Now, that's not to say that that's not to say that the underlying issues after that didn't fall apart, because they did. When the jobs went overseas, or were starting to go over, I think it was the 70s. I'm not even that old. Um, I don't know quite when the job started going overseas, but I do know there is about a 20-year, like a 2-decade span of crack cocaine abuse. Those people had parents. Those people went to prison and the kids went to foster care. I'm not saying feel sorry for them. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this is the social ramifications of everything that happened. It is it we talk about it like it's that like Black people are superhumans. If we were, then why does it look like this? And it's just true. And even, and if you look at the native people that tried to keep a little bit of their culture, their own reservations, they're doing really bad. I guess when you break down the cycle of the family, things stop working as they should. Now, when you add in popularism, where the raunchiest part of your culture is praised, and I forgot what that's called. It's not like blackface or something like that. I'm not quite sure. I'm not even a big fan of rap. Um, I just wanted to make sure that we're not being left out of the conservative conversation, because everything isn't just based upon only strictly what Black people did, or just Black women, or just Black men. It's if if you're not if you're not getting policies passed down, and you're not passing down education through your parents, this is the parents' problem. The parents didn't grow up and then learn, because after you grow up, you're supposed to teach yourself. Okay, your teacher didn't teach you that good. Okay, fine. Order some books off a website and read. You know, I'm not saying that that was good, that's bad, but at some point, yes, it starts becoming the adult person's responsibility to take, where people, because nobody's really going to have it perfect in life. Nobody. I don't care what race you are. Nobody's going to have it perfect in life at all. So if your parents were abusive, go to therapy. Like, I'm talking about once you're grown. So I understand all that. What I'm saying is, like, if you have a culture, and see, this is what other people that belong to cultures don't realize, is that when you have a culture that looks up to pimps, literally, you're why should we have expected anything less than this?
We shouldn't. But we also shouldn't get defensive when we talk about women, especially if it's an accurate depiction of what a lot of Black women look like today. It's not my fault. It's not Jonathan's fault. It's not Eric's fault. It's not yours. It's what it is. And I'm going to keep calling it out. People are going to get offended. That's fine. You could be offended. But I guarantee you there will be some young girl that actually listens to what I say and conducts herself completely different. The only way things change is if we change them. And women, especially Black minority women, they're in control in the entertainment industry. It ain't got nothing to do with a white man signing a check. If you don't want to bust it open, you ain't got to bust it open.
Actually, never
Nicki
blamed white
Minaj.
men.
I'm sorry, what?
I said I actually never blamed white men.
I'm not talking about you.
Okay, it seemed like that. I just wanted to make it known that I don't, but I actually said that it was Two Life Crew that sued the music industry, and that's who it was. They sued the music industry to be able to put the butt cheeks of Black women on CDs and stuff. So I don't know if Black women are so much angry as they have been railroaded. But yeah, I agree with a lot of your points. I really do.
I feel like we get somewhere and then you just kick me 1,000 steps back. Because you just said that we're being railroaded. As if we don't have an active choice in anything that's happening. We have a choice. Black women don't have to do this. They really don't. They don't. There's somebody in your life that tells you right from wrong. There is somebody in your life at some point that drops a piece of knowledge in you, and you can grow from that. It's a choice.
And
why is Brandy not all over the place? You know why? Because Brandy ain't busting it open for nobody.
Of course. Yeah, of course. And she's not using the music industry to blame anybody for any of if her child, if she's married or not. That wasn't my point. I was saying that a lot of these social ramifications come from decisions that other people made. I'm not saying they don't have other options at all, because I believe that they do. I'm saying that it seems like the talking point is only pointing towards Black women, like, ooh, Black women need
Today,
to.
yeah, we're talking about Black
Okay.
women and Black women only.
All right. Well, if that's the case, I wanted to say that I don't believe in women having babies outside of marriage at all, and this is why.
Why you couldn't say that from
yeah at all?
Yo, I can't, bro.
I'm just gonna say I actually appreciate that sentiment. I on a philosophical and fundamental level, kids outside of wedlock from a biblical standpoint is never a good idea. So I actually agree with that sentiment. I'm scratching my face a little bit too. I've seen bits and pieces. I've been a little bit out. I just was jumped out to put my daughter down. So apologize for that, guys. But I want to say that is a good point. Is, you know, outside of wedlock, childbirth rates and those kinds of things, it's an important piece of the puzzle that we're all trying to kind of figure out, I think, at the end of the day. So I appreciate you bringing that to the attention.
See, this is the thing, is that it's not that I don't have conservative views and values on many, many, many things. I wanted to speak up on the reality of what actually happened. Because the truth is that a lot of people that lives in the black community, you know, the I'm black y'all crowd, a lot of them sold drugs to their own people. That's all. And I wanted to emphasize that because yeah, it's not just one-sided. What are you gonna say?
Well, thank you for giving your commentary. I really wish you would have been here at the beginning of the show when I vocalized all this, because we literally spent 30 minutes, and I'm being super honest and real with you. This is just my personality. We spent over 30 minutes trying to get you to see what we've already all been talking about. You felt like this show is you guys only talk about Black women. No, this specific show is about Black women. And you agree with everything we said.
No, but the thing is that
you came in guns blazing.
Sorry about coming in guns blazing. But I wanted to say it was the comment section. I was seeing comments like, oh, it is only up to the women. And I'm like, no, I don't agree with that point. I don't. But a lot of the other stuff I do agree with. And one of the major reasons why is because outside of the socialization of marriage, you're literally dumped at any moment, and your kids. You can, because it's not that serious. If I feel like the person's not responsible enough to write down on a marriage certificate that you guys are married, they wouldn't run a household good anyway. So I'm just saying. I
All
might
right.
seem weird, but that was my point.
I got you. Thanks for coming on. It was dope talking to you.
Thank you.
Is anybody else interested in this conversation? I think I'm kind of spent, man. I need a shot and I need a whole blunt.
Can I just ask, is Chief Cook still in the chat? Because he's somebody
Where?
that's in the community, living a little bit different life than all of us. That he's right. He's the chief, I believe, of the Memphis police, right? Yeah, it's Chief Cook. Maybe he can come through. Yeah, I would love to hear his perspective on this.
I don't see him.
He's in the private chat. Let's see.
Well, he might have to refresh because I don't see him at the bottom. Why don't you come on, Sheik? You've been dropping a bunch of
I seen them.
common sense approach. Like, yo, I'm telling you, man, she's got my mind spent. Okay, this is when I have sympathy for men, because I was literally saying, yo, 1 + 1 is 2, and she's like, no, shut up. I'm like, wait a minute, just can you calm down? Can we talk? No, in the Black Caucus, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about? I'm glad I had her back because she got to redeem herself a little bit. But Laura, you got to work on communicating effectively, because that's not effective communicating. And I hope you don't subject your husband to that. I really don't. And if you do, brother, I'm praying for you, dog, because man, my head hurts. I have a headache. Do you hear me? I want to go pop some Motrin and go to sleep because she gave me a straight headache. Oh,
I'm pretty much the same way. It's like after that conversation, I'm just like, man, like it's like I shouldn't, like I feel like I need an ibuprofen. Like I feel like I need one, but it's like I'm like, why? It was just a conversation, but it's. I mean, I will say at the end, I mean, it made me more productive. I mean, so I'm glad for that. But man, the path getting there though, that path getting there.
Y'all need.
It was tough. I was like,
I need a blunt after you, Laura.
I didn't know if we were gonna make it for a minute. To that point where we had this kind of just peaceful like ending to it. It was. I'll be honest. I was expecting it to go left. Like I was expecting within the first 5 minutes. It's like we're gonna have to kick out. It's really bad.
And I just really quickly, I just want to iterate, like, no disrespect at all. Like I had to go because I had my daughter. I needed to put her down, so it wasn't a willingness to engage. I had my first priority, which is my child. So I don't want Laura to think that I left because there was some contention. I just had other things to do. And I wanted to come back and circle back because I knew she was still on. So I want to show respect. I'm not sure I agree or even followed everything you said, but thank you. Like, it is important to have some dialogue. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next. If nobody else wants to come up here and disagree, man. Chief Cook, I see you in the private chat, but I don't see there's only 3 little windows here at the bottom. I don't see you. And it could be StreamYard. I don't know. If nobody else is going to come on here and give me a hard time, then I'm just going to dip because... Go ahead.
I'm going to give you a hard time right now.
Uh-oh. What?
You ready?
What?
I don't agree with the headline of your story here.
Yes, you do.
Shit's controversial as fuck. We can't have that.
Hey, look.
I'm triggered.
We're back to square one, bro. I know you're watching. You're watching the live, bro. We are literally sitting here having fun. And yes, you made me want to take a shot. And yet, like, I'm not going to lie. You made me need a shot, a blunt, and a nap, girl. And I tell you that because I care about you. And I'm telling you for your husband's sake too. Don't do that to that man. Don't do that. And I would have said that to you on here, but you dipped out. You could have stayed in the back and heard everything I said. I ain't no punk. Let me tell you that. I get on here and say whatever I want, when I want, and how I want. And it hasn't changed in the 2 years that I've been doing this. I'm just giving you constructive criticism from one wife to another. Don't subject that man to that. Don't do it. Please.
Man, Chief is really trying hard to get in here. I feel bad because I want the
So do
man
I.
to come on. Go ahead, Jonathan. My bad.
No, I was just saying it, man. Anybody got some cognac? Anything? Like, at this point, I'll take Ripple. At this point. Whew. Lord.
Well, guys, this was of course, Danye. He was simping a little bit. I'm not even gonna flex. All right. You was simping a lot, man. You didn't want to get on here and tell the truth. Well, I can't tell people not to have sex. Yes, you can. Close your legs. Value yourself. And see what a man is about before you fuck him. How about see what he's about before you give him the title boyfriend, fiance? Why even wait till it gets all the way to husband to see who somebody is? Like, people show you who they are over time. I'm just saying. Do you guys have any closing statements?
My only thing is just keep having the uncomfortable conversations. I mean, the more you have them, the more you don't really taste to but to get comfortable. That's all you can do. Just keep having those uncomfortable conversations. You know, never be touched. Hold on, what is it? But yeah, just have the uncomfortable conversations. You may change somebody's mind, they may be yours, but be willing to have the conversation, willing to have it in good faith, and just take it from there. Take what you can from it. Just go from there. I just
What is wrong with you, man? You got no chill, bro. Oh. Jonathan, I'm gonna see you in the comment section, man. Oh my god. Oh my god. She said you make me want to take a shit. This is tired. This is actual mean girl. So you're a fake sexist. What? I have an exit for you. After Eric gives his spiel, I'm going to give you a special send-off, Laura. This is going to be just for you.
I'll just say, guys, look, no matter how uncomfortable a conversation is, it's worth having. So even if we're not able to see eye to eye, even if, we're not even talking about the same reality, that's okay. Start somewhere. I'll reiterate what I said earlier today, which is it starts in the head and the heart, and then it trickles to your family inside your own home, then to your city, then to your state, then hopefully to the federal government. So we got a lot to band up on together. Let's do that. Let's try and stay on topic when we can, but at the same time, all conversation is appreciated, and I'll leave that there for tonight.
I can't even talk. Yo. Get out of my comment section, man. My husband actually thinks that black men are responsible for this. So that's why every black country failed. Single moms, and not all black countries look the same. My husband said so. I hope you have a good day, Laura. Tomorrow, tonight, today. I hope your day is great. I hope you have a wonderful year. I wish you blessings upon blessings like all the time, bro. Okay? But this ain't it for you, man. Please, please don't. Just stay in the comments, okay? But don't come back on here. Girl, you gave me a headache. Thank you guys for listening to me. Please make sure you hit that thumbs up, the notification bell, subscribe so you don't ever miss another episode of Hi Mike. And we're also live on Cash's page. This might take me out for a couple days, bro. God damn.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.